Hello, my lovelies. It is time for part 3 of the care and feeding of your pastor's family. Now, reminder, disclaimer, I tend to use he, him pronouns when referring to clergy and she, her pronouns when referring to clergy spouses because that is my lived experience. I grew up with a dad who was a pastor. I married a pastor. So in my world, I have no experience being the clergy person with my husband being the clergy spouse. I haven't had enough interaction with non binary folks who are involved in ministry or folks who have non binary spouses or same sex couples to know how they fit in to the things I'm talking about. What I can tell you is the number of female clergy I've spoken to and their husbands, men don't seem to put up with the same kind of nonsense. And I don't know if that's because of the patriarchy. I don't know if that's because churches that hire female pastors are a little more progressive and a little bit better at not being jerks to the pastor's family. I don't know. But this is part 3 of the care and feeding of your pastor's family. So let's jump right in. In previous posts, I've mentioned the fact that your pastor's family may live far away from extended family. This is not always the case, but the closest I've lived to my parents since I got married was 2 hours. When you add the every single weekend demands of pastoral life, you can understand why an honorary extended family would mean a lot. Sometimes it can mean the difference between the pastor's family feeling like they are truly home or feeling like outsiders. Most of us long for a sense of community. We want to feel connected, vitally connected to people and events around us. It's important for us to know that others miss us when we are unexpectedly absent from an event. This is especially true for someone living in a pastor's family. I've said before that the members of a pastor's family prefer not to have extra expectations placed on them simply because they happen to be related to the man in the pulpit, but they want to belong. They want their church to feel like home, and this desire is magnified significantly if they are a long distance from siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. You get the idea. Can you imagine leaving every single family bond behind and leaving your friends as well to come to a new place because of dad's new job and then discovering that they had a list of expectations you were supposed to live up to and they had no intention of actually building a relationship with you? I've spoken with so many pastors' wives and kids who have been there, and it hurts. They're spoken to warmly in the walls of the church building and complained about if they don't speak to every single church member they see out in the community. Never mind that those complaining don't always speak first. Apparently, members of the clergy family are supposed to initiate all conversations. I've heard stories of holidays spent alone because the pastor's family can't travel on Easter or on Christmas if it's on a Sunday. And it just doesn't seem fair to constantly ask its extended family to travel to see you. Let me get down to brass tacks. Invite your pastor's family over to just hang out. Include them in a family holiday celebration if they are far away from relatives. For me, this was always a really big deal around Christmas. If you visited a church for several weeks in a row and didn't feel completely welcome, would you keep going back? My guess is probably not. The simple fact is your pastor's family doesn't have that option. Again, I've said it before. There have been pastors whose wives have gone to different churches and they never stay very long in that congregation. Most church people are individuals who have good hearts, who would love to take good care of the pastors. And there's a simple way to do that. Make sure you're taking care of their families as well. Build relationships with his family, especially his wife, because she needs friends and connections or she's going to start leaning on him to fill all of that need in her life. Her frustration with a lack of connectedness to other members of the body will land squarely on him, putting him in a really rough, difficult, awkward spot. This is experience talking, just saying. Don't get me wrong. There are other organizations that the family can get involved in that will bring some sense of connection to the community. But if you are a person of faith, there's something about being connected to a faith community that feels special. There are no easy answers to the how do you make up for the lack of family being close by. But any attempt to love on the pastor's family, any attempt to welcome them and make them feel a part of things goes a long way. Treating them like just another new family in the church is huge. Be just as welcoming and inviting as you would to anybody else. And it can make a huge difference in your pastor's level of stress. And frankly, in how long the pastor's family sticks around with your congregation.